All right. What's up, everybody? All my people in Manhattan, the Boogie Down Bronx, Queens, all the way to Staten Island, and my home borough, Brooklyn. Back at another video, and this video is going to be on how much these women, these liberal women, these black women, don't give a fuck about you black men. All right? They don't. Black Lives Matter. All these bitches. I don't care what they say. I don't care what they say, what they march for. They do not care about black men. They just use you guys for attention. Okay? Use your deaths, George Floyd, Ahmaud Arbery. You know what's funny? When was the last time somebody mentioned George Floyd or Rashad Brooks or Ahmaud Arbery? I haven't heard shit about them. All I hear about is Breonna Taylor. Okay? Or even the kid Jacob Blake in, Kenosha, Wisconsin. I haven't heard anything about them. All I've heard about is Breonna Taylor. They take your deaths, they use your deaths, and they transfer it over to themselves, and then the trannies and the whole rainbow tribe. Okay? This is an article, a Serena Williams interview I used in my previous video on interracial relationships. You can go check that out on my channel. Okay, and this interview basically exposed Serena Williams and her disdain for black men. Okay, even though it was a black man, her father, who basically made her and got to where she was in the first place. Okay, now in the aftermath of this interview being exposed and released, Serena and Venus went on to say this was a false interview, this was a fake interview. It clearly isn't, because both of them are, because Serena Williams ended up getting with a Caucasian man and having his baby. Okay, Venus Williams loves Caucasian men as well. And like I said, I don't have a problem with that. My issue is that how these black women will cyber lynch, any so-called black man who says anything positive about Caucasian women and how much he loves white women or Latina women or even light-skinned black women. They'll get ready to cyber lynch his ass, but will completely ignore like Serena Williams and Venus Williams and Eve and the female Lonnie Love and people like that. But let's get to this here. Okay, it says here, interviewer, but you have decided to accept the two choices. The two choices, by the way, is Caucasian man. Serena Williams said it. She'd rather either date a Caucasian man or be a lesbian for a black woman to be successful. Yes, I grew up in California around the two extremes of wealth. It's ironic because you're from Compton. If I could only get myself to try the bisexual thing, I would have been much happier in my relationships. Instead, I dated black men. I loved many of them, but they were just not suitable for marriage. Many of them were raised by women and had warped mentalities, so I finally had to date outside my race. When I moved to Miami, I accepted my status and dated men on my level. Okay? Read that again. I loved many of them. They were just not suitable for marriage. Many of them were raised by women and had warped mentalities. Okay? I went over this in my two videos called Misogyny and Hip Hop, How Did It All Start? Misogyny and Hip Hop is about to get worse. And another video I did recently called The Matriarchy Problem. Young boys who are raised by the father, act feminine. Okay, they're feminine because the dominant energy household is a woman. There's nobody there to teach them how to conduct himself like a man. Okay? A woman, can someone please tell me how a woman is supposed to turn a boy into a man? When a woman doesn't know anything about being a man. Nothing, okay? He's just going to be a taller boy, an effeminate boy with facial hair and maybe some muscles. Okay? That's all he'll be. So I understand what Serena's coming from on that. When she said that warped mentalities, meaning they're feminine as hell. Let's go on. But isn't that funny? Isn't that kind of the same thing? Serena says these black men have warped mentalities, meaning they act feminine. Isn't that the same thing that black men say about black women? That these black women act all masculine and whatnot and aggressive and abrasive towards men. Isn't that the same thing? But black women will be quick to call out black men if he said that. But anyway, what do you mean by warped mentalities? Serena responded, well, where do I begin? Many of them were raised predominantly by women, had this feminine / bisexual complex where they wanted to be treated like a female sometimes. Exactly. They're emotional, they're hard to control their emotions, they're belligerent, then they can say anything and be disrespectful to anybody and no consequences, no repercussions happen, and most part they end up dead. Okay, and I don't feel bad for them. It sounds cruel, but it's just true. For example, I would have the money and they would have the sex. I would teach them things, all the things a woman likes a man to do. I would end up doing for them. Then if we would get into an argument, there would be a role reversal. All of a sudden, they would be the man wanting the respect of a king in his castle. Black men over the years have become less and less of value to black women, both rich and poor. Damn. I predict in 10 years they will be obsolete. Now they serve little to no function, and what little they can do, they don't want to do. And this is Serena Williams, who, according to Stephen A. Smith's dumbass, is the greatest athlete ever. If she was a man, and she's the queen, and she can do no wrong. She's the, GOAT and whatnot. All this shit. The GOAT athlete over Michael Jordan and Muhammad Ali, which is just, speaking of Stephen A. Smith, as he would say, that's blasphemous. It's crazy. I mean, what she's saying is true. Boys who don't have fathers act effeminate as hell. Trust me. And look, I grew up in the ghettos of Brooklyn. I counted many dudes who didn't have fathers. So trust me, I know what she's talking about. Again, like I said, I did a video on that called The Matriarchy Problem. You can check it out on my channel. Let's see here. It says right here, are you a part of that organization? Serena responded, no. They are mostly a white group. Plus, that day for black men is practically here already. Black women are already raising 75% of the black population without a man. Like I said, I covered that in my matriarchy problem. Since the feminist movement of the late 60s into the 70s, particularly the black feminist movement in the late 70s, the rate of single mother households gone up. And it's out of the black feminist movement. What came after the black feminist movement? The crack epidemic. And all this stuff. Okay, and the rate of single mother households went up post black feminist movement, but nobody wants to talk about that. When a fertility clinic becomes more affordable, black women will be standing in line. It will just be like plastic surgery. Everyone laughed at Michael Jackson, but it's becoming so popular now that even poor blacks are getting work done, mostly breast reductions and liposuction. So do you want men to be disempowered? Heck no. That's why I'm with the white man now. I want a man to be a man. I am not going to settle for just less to stay within racial boundaries. A black man in my position wouldn't do it, so why should I? Don't get me wrong. In other words, she's saying, when black men get rich, they go get white women, so why is it a problem when it's in reverse? I already disproved that well, let's look at some of the most prominent black men in entertainment right now. LeBron James, really in history. Michael Jordan, Muhammad Ali, LeBron James, like I said. Even today, Dwayne Wade, Russell Westbrook, Chris Paul, Steph Curry, Jay-Z. Most of these dudes are with black women, right? When you look at the history of black women in the entertainment industry, going back to Josephine Baker and Maya Angelou, Diana Ross, they were all with Caucasian men. Serena Williams, all of them. Denzel Washington's with a black woman, Pauletta. But anyway, let's go back. A black man in my position wouldn't do it, so why should I? Don't get me wrong, I love black men. Sure you do. My father is black. I've dated black men all my life, and if I have a male child, he'll be part black. But my husband and I will raise him together, so hopefully he will be a worthy choice for a worthy black female. So in other words, you want your son to date black women, but you want your son to date black women. Okay, now I wonder if this man, if her son, future son, pray for that boy. if he were to bring a white woman home, how would Serena Williams react to that? Okay, where'd I leave off? Not the only choice, or there's nothing better out there, so I'll settle for this choice. When you are successful, you want the best food, clothes, places to live, etc. I want the best man also. And you think the best man is a non-black man? If I think there's a better choice for me, God would have shown me. I'm in the public, so I get to meet lots of people from all over the world, athletes, celebs, etc. I'm wealthy, so I'm invited to and have traveled to the most prestigious events all over the world. Out of all those people, places, and events, I chose the right thing for me. Okay, she's going on to, basically bragging about her riches and whatnot. Okay, now this is an article why Marxist organizations like Black Lives Matter seek to dismantle the Western nuclear family. Okay, what's the nuclear family structure? Father, mother, son, daughter. That's the stereotypical American family. Okay, one of the most oft-criticized and criticized goals of the Black Lives Matter organizations is stated desire to abolish the family as we know it. Specifically, Black Lives Matter official website states, we disrupt the Western prescribed nuclear family structure requirement by supporting each other, seeing family in villages that collectively care for one another. Well, I don't know about y'all, but I wasn't raised by my entire neighborhood here in Brooklyn. I was just raised by my mother and father. Okay, if you need everybody in the neighborhood to look out for you, you're a fucking idiot. You're a fuck up, and you're probably, be quite frank with you, probably need to be put out your misery. Okay, again, that sounds dark, but it's just true. Especially our children, to the degree that mothers, parents, and children are comfortable. Like I said, they do not care about you black men. They do not want. They want to destroy the patriarchy. When they say the patriarchy, they're not talking about just Caucasian American men. They're talking about you Negroes too. This idea isn't unique to the BLM, of course. Disrupting the nuclear family is a commonly say to go among Marxist organizations. Given that BLM's founders have specifically claimed to be trained Marxists, we should not be surprised that the organization leadership has embraced a Marxian view of the family. Excuse me. Okay. It says right here, it was only later that this older tribal model family gave way to the modern patriarchal family. Okay, patriarchal family. They're trying to destroy that, get rid of that, mean get the father out the home. Like I said, these broads don't care about you. A lot of black men started to figure that out. That's why if you go on their website now, you can't find that part where they say they want to destroy the patriarchy. It used to say they wanted to destroy white supremacy, capitalism, and the patriarchy. But this past summer, because the woke renaissance that they've endured, that they've had, people start going on their website and figuring out that these Negroes don't care about, that these Black Lives Matter bitches don't care about them. Okay, and that's why a lot of black men voted for Donald Trump, because they realize Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, that these black women don't care about them. These liberals don't care about them. They're starting to figure that out, so they're starting to get a little scared. But Joe Biden's president now. I know people say recount all that shit. That's another video for another day. Okay. Now this is what Black Lives Matter Los Angeles website. Unapologetically black, all Black Lives Matter, and globalism, meaning we all come together. It says here under the globalism, it says we see ourselves as part of the global black family, and we are aware of the different ways we are impacted or privileged as black people who live in different parts of the world. Look, that's going to that whole we're all black, we're all the same Pan-Africanist bullshit. Look, I don't buy any of that shit. We're all the same. We're all black. We're all the same. Because that's just about skin color. That's Pan-Africanism, and of course, Pan-Africanism was, was taught to people by Marcus Garvey. And look, I'm a Jamaican, so of course I have respect for Marcus Garvey. Most things Marcus Garvey said I agreed with, but came to Pan-Africanism, that I completely disagree with that. Yeah, we're all the Israelites. We're all the people of the book, but we come from different tribes. Okay. It's not about color. It's culture. Like Asian, if you told a Chinese man, a Japanese man, they're the same, they're both gonna whoop your ass. Because I know we're not the same. Chinese people have their language, their culture, their customs, their way of life, their religion. Japanese people have their culture, their custom, their way of life, and their religion. Okay, yeah, they look the same, but they're not. And when they say they're not the same, they're not talking about their physical appearance. They're talking about their culture, their cultural difference. All right, understand that? Okay, an Italian man and a Greek man may look the same, but they're not. Different languages, different cultures, different countries. Okay, so yeah, Jamaicans, Bahamians, Haitians, Trinidadians, Bajans may look the same as the American Negroes, but we're not. Okay, because our cultures are different. Even me, I'm Jamaican on my father's side, Bahamian on my mother's side. I don't really like that term West Indian. That's just me. Just me because I kind of group us all together. But like the West Indian Negroes are the descendants of the tribe of Benjamin. The American Negroes are descendants from the tribe of Judah. And obviously Jamaican culture is different from American culture. You understand me? Understand that?